In Parshat Shoftim, the Torah describes the pep talk that was given by the Kohen Mashuach Milchama, the specially appointed Kohen, who went to the front with the forces, with the soldiers, just as they were about to go into battle. And he said to them, Shema Yisrael, listen, O Israel, Al yerach levavchem, do not allow your hearts to be soft. Al tiru, do not be afraid. Al tichpazu, do not panic. V'al t'artzu mipnehem, do not be broken from before you. He used 4 phrases. And the sages explain that he used 4 phrases because there are 4 tactics that are employed by the enemy. The enemy would take their shields and their swords and they would smash them together to create a terrifying sound. They would instigate their horses. They would make them trample their hooves. Also, you would hear thousands and thousands of horses. Then they would sound trumpets, horns, which was an enormous sound. And lastly, they would cry out with a war cry. And if you're in battle and you're at the front and the enemy are coming and you hear these things, the clashing of swords and shields, the trampling of the horses, the trumpets and the war cries, it's absolutely terrifying. And that's why the Kohen, Mashuach Milchama, the specially appointed Kohen, had to tell the troops, don't be afraid, don't be soft-hearted, don't panic, don't be broken from before them. The Chofetz Chaim uses this imagery in his book, Chomat HaDat. And that book is really dedicated to the improvement of Judaism, which was going through a very hard time during the period of the First World War and thereafter. And he says that this is the tactics of the people who are against the Jewish people till this very day. They cry out with 100 voices. They espouse their philosophy, whatever the ism is, whether it's socialism or communism, something which is anti-Judaism. They're anti-Semites, and they cry out in a loud voice. And they threaten with all types of threats people who won't go along with their ideology. And this is something that unfortunately we've seen this year, 5784, since the 7th of October, that the enemies of the Jewish people, the enemies of the state of Israel, are crying out on whatever platform they can find. It could be social media. It could be the regular media, certain very biased news channels. It could be at university campuses. It could be at the United Nations itself. They are crying out. They are accusing the Jewish people of genocide. They are telling us to leave our hostages there. Unfortunately, we just heard of the murder of 6 of the hostages this last Sunday. And they're making all types of threats that if Israel doesn't do this, they'll be wiped off the map. And the map, they accuse us of genocide, all types of terrible things. But the Kohen said, do not afraid. Ki Hashem Elokeichem yelachem lachem, because Hashem is there to fight with you and to battle you. These are all just words. These are all just threats. These are all just loud cries. But ultimately, if you believe in Hashem, if you're true to His words, if you're courageous, Hashem will be there to fight the battle with you. We have to be courageous. We have to be united, because a group of soldiers that is not united cannot fight a war. If the Jewish people are united and we have courage and we have faith and we're not fearful, Hashem will fight for us and we will be victorious. I wish you a Shabbat.